June 14, 2025. The world holds its breath as the Middle East erupts into open war. Iran and Israel, longtime adversaries, have crossed the threshold from shadow conflict to direct military confrontation. Explosions light up ancient cities, and the stakes are global. This is no border skirmish but a clash threatening to spiral far beyond the region. Oil markets tremble, world leaders scramble, and the fragile architecture of diplomacy is on the verge of collapse. The shockwaves are immediate, fuel prices soar, financial markets reel, and millions brace for what comes next. This is not just a geopolitical crisis, it's a human tragedy unfolding in real time. As the world watches, the fate of millions hangs in the balance. The conflict exploded with Israel's Operation Rising Lion. Over 200 jets struck more than 100 Iranian military and nuclear sites in a single night. Key facilities in Natanz, Isfahan and Qom were hit, with top Iranian scientists and commanders among the casualties. Iran's response was swift and massive. Operation True Promise 3 unleashed 150 ballistic missiles and 100 drones at Israeli cities. Sirens wailed in Tel Aviv and Jerusalem as Israel's Iron Dome struggled to intercept the barrage. Some missiles broke through, hitting civilian areas. The era of proxy wars and covert strikes is over. Capitals are now targets, and the rules have changed. Israel's gamble aimed to cripple Iran's nuclear ambitions. Iran's retaliation was designed to prove its reach and resolve. Both sides have demonstrated their willingness to escalate, shattering decades of uneasy restraint. The shadow war has erupted into open, unpredictable conflict. The world is witnessing a new, dangerous reality in the Middle East. The question now, how far will this go? Beneath the headlines, ordinary lives are shattered. In Israel, missile strikes have killed civilians and left neighborhoods in ruins. Families scramble for safety as fear replaces routine. In Iran, airstrikes near cities have killed dozens and forced families to flee, with power outages and widespread destruction. Displacement is growing, schools closed, businesses shuttered, and daily life upended in both countries. Children learn the sound of sirens, parents grieve for lost loved ones. The scars, physical and psychological, will last for generations. This is the true cost of war trauma, loss, and a future forever changed. The suffering of millions is the war's most enduring legacy. The world's response is swift but divided. The US supports Israel's defense but refuses to join offensive operations, seeking to contain the conflict. Russia condemns Israel, deepening global divisions and paralyzing the UN Security Council. Oil prices skyrocket past $150 a barrel, as fears of disruption in the Strait of Hormuz grip markets. Stock markets plunge, and the threat of a global recession looms. Everyday costs rise worldwide, hitting vulnerable nations hardest. The crisis exposes the world's dependence on Middle Eastern stability. The economic fallout is global, immediate, and severe. This war is decades in the making, rooted in Iran's nuclear ambitions and Israel's determination to prevent a nuclear-armed adversary. Israel has used cyber attacks and targeted assassinations to slow Iran's program, while Iran has built a network of regional militias. Each side sees the other as an existential threat, fueling a cycle of covert attacks and proxy wars. Ideology deepens the divide. Iran's regime rejects Israel's legitimacy while Israel views Iran as a radical, expansionist power. Failed diplomacy and irreconcilable worldviews have made peace elusive. The Shadow War's escalation was inevitable. Now, the region faces the consequences of decades of mistrust and confrontation. Why now? Israeli intelligence concluded Iran was on the brink of nuclear breakout, forcing a now-or-never decision. Diplomatic talks had stalled. Iran was declared in breach of nuclear agreements. Israel struck to prevent a nuclear-armed Iran. Iran retaliated to restore deterrence and save face. Both sides see existential stakes. Israel fights to maintain regional superiority, Iran to assert sovereignty and break isolation. The war is about two irreconcilable visions for the Middle East's future. Each side believes its survival is at risk. Diplomacy failed and the cost is being paid by millions. The world is left to reckon with the fallout. The world stands at a crossroads. Three futures are possible. First, rapid de-escalation, intense diplomacy, could force a ceasefire, allowing both sides to claim victory and step back. Second, regional war escalation draws in proxies like Hezbollah, opening new fronts and risking US involvement. Third, global crisis. If nuclear weapons are used, the conflict could cripple global energy supplies and trigger worldwide chaos. The next 72 hours are critical. Choices made now will shape the century. This is not a distant conflict, its impact will be felt everywhere. The fire in the Middle East threatens global peace and stability. The world must demand restraint and work for peace. The fate of millions and the future of the world hangs in the balance. We cannot look away. The responsibility to prevent catastrophe is shared by all.